let's start our math lesson today. We're doing division with decimals. I know you love division, don't you? Don't ask me. So I know some of you probably do, because I know some of you don't like division. But it's a concept you have to learn. You might use it one day with whatever job and career option you might choose. So we're on page 275 in your math book, and it's division with decimals. When dividing a decimal by a whole number, place the decimal point in the quotient directly above the decimal point in the dividend. So, when you're dividing with decimals, so here's your example. Before you divide, all you need to do is put the decimal right above it and divide normal. That's all you have to do, is bring the decimal up, put it into your answer, your quotient, and then divide normal. So how many times can 17 go into 35? Well, you know it's going to go more than 1. So let's try 2. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 more is 2. 3, I mean. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down your 7. 1 times 17 is 17. And the answer is decimal 21. So the only thing that's changing when you're dividing by decimals is moving that decimal point straight up. That's all it is to it. There's nothing special, nothing fancy. It's regular division, just like you know how. All you gotta do is make sure you put your decimal, move the decimal up into your answer. Do that first before you divide. Then you don't have to remember, oh, did I put my decimal there? You've already done it. That's all you have to do with dividing with decimals. Okay, let's do it. Let's look at number 1C. Okay, go ahead and put your decimal up there. Make sure that's the first thing you need to do. Put your decimals there, go straight up and put your decimal into your answer. That way you don't have to worry about it. Then you can just divide regular. Well, how many times do you think 42 will go into 75? Well, then if it goes 2, 2 times 4 will make it 8. So that would be too big. So we're only going to go 1 time. Five minus 2 is what? 7 minus 4. Bring down your 6. Now you know you're definitely going to go more than 1 time because you have a 3-digit number here. So think about, you're going to go kind of high. So I want you to think about now what number you could use. Well, if you use 5, let's see, 5 times 4 is 20. So you know that's not enough because it has to start with a 3. Let's try 7 times 4 is what? 28. Mike could do that. That's getting close. Let's try 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 1 more is 33. So you're still dividing normally. You're just making sure you move your decimal. That's all it is moving that decimal up into your answer. Dividing with decimals, that's all it is. Let's look at, that was 1C. Let's look at 1D. Alright guys, this is the first thing I need to do. Move my decimal up into my answer. Now, this number is 432. So you know that this number is smaller than that. So you're going to be using the first 4 numbers. You have to figure out something that goes closest to this. So let's try 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So can we start with a 1 there? We possibly could, but I think we could go a little higher. Let's do 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 more is 16. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 more is 21. 5 minus 0 is 5. Now, don't forget about your borrowing. If you have 0, you're not going to take 6 away. I know some of you are going to try. I know some of you are. I can already see some of you. So you're going to mark it out. You're going to borrow. Make it 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. Don't forget to bring down your 6. Well, you know now that you're going to go higher than 5. That's a given. So how much higher are you going to go? Well, 7 times 4 we said was 28. We might could use that, but let's try one more. Let's use 8. Well, 8 times 4 is 32. Couldn't we possibly use that? So let's look at 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3, 24. One more is 25. It's 25. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 2 more is 34. Put that marker away. So, when you're dividing with decimals, the only thing that you're doing different is moving the decimal up into your answer. That's all you're really doing. It's nothing different. It's just moving the decimal place when you're dividing with decimals. Now, I thought about helping you out with some of these problems that I know you have trouble with. I know you need to look at the temperature problems. I know some of you still get confused on which formula to use. So let's look at the 2 different formulas that we have for temperature. So F equals 9/5 C plus 32. C equals 5/9. F minus 32. So these are the 2 formulas that you can use when you're finding this one's when you're trying to find Fahrenheit because it gives you the Celsius. This one's when you're trying to find Celsius because it gives you the Fahrenheit. Guys, you've got to remember these formulas. That's the only hard part, is trying to remember the formulas. So, let's look at 4A and 4B. 4A says it's 35 degrees Celsius, and we want to know what the Fahrenheit is. Well, if we're trying to find the Fahrenheit and we're given the Celsius, we're going to use this first formula. This is for 4A, because we're given that Celsius formula that we can plug in. So we're going to say, remember we do this. No. So we're going to take this and times it. Because remember I told you this right here means multiplication. When a fraction's beside that letter, it means multiplication. So you're going to say 9/5 times, what's the Celsius? 35. When we have that whole number, you know you make it a 1. We can cancel out. And then what is 9 times 7? And 9 times 7 is 63. Now we have to add the 32 to it. 3 plus 2 is 5. 6 plus 3 is 9. So our temperature is 95 degrees Fahrenheit. You've just got to remember the formulas and the steps to use it. You do the multiplication first in that one. In this one, you do the subtraction first because it's in parentheses. So now let's look at 4b. It says 68 degrees Fahrenheit equals what degrees Celsius? So that means we're going to use this one. We're given our Fahrenheit, so we have to plug our Fahrenheit in here to get our Celsius temperature. So you're going to say 68 minus that 32. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 36. Then you multiply that by your 5/9. And we can cancel out. Five times 4 is what? 20. So it's 20 degrees Celsius. Alright, let's look at problems 5. We're going to do 2 in problems 5 with the fractions, because I know that 5th grade is full of fractions, and I know some of you probably forgot, well, I don't know what to do now. So let's look at 5b. And you are given 2 3/8. 5 1/4, 2 5/6. Now what you have to do with this problem is you have to find a common denominator in between the 3 of them. That's when you do your, so you have to find your common denominator. That's when you do your common multiples or your CDM. So, what's something that 8, 4, and 6 all have in common? Think about what they equal, their multiplication facts. What are their answers? What's something they equal the same? Well, we know that 4 equals 8, but the 6, does anything times 6 equal 8? No, we know 4 times 2 is 8. So now we're going to go a little higher than that. Well, think about it. They all have 24 in common. So what times 8 gives you 24? 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. What times 4 gives you 24? 6. 1 times 6 is 6. We know 4 times 6 equals 24, so 5 times 4 is 20. Now you can add, because you have a like denominator, your denominator is going to be 24. So 9 plus 6 plus 20. Add that up now. It's going to be 35. 5 plus 2, 8 plus 2, no, 7 plus 2 more is 9. Now, can that be our final answer? You best say no, because that 35 is squishing that 24, going to make squish like pancake. So we're going to need to fix that improper fraction. So we're going to divide to fix that improper fraction. So how many times is 24 going to go into 35? It's going to be 1 time. Five minus 4 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. So we're going to have, add that 1 to that 9. You're going to have 10. And 11 over 24 is your answer. And that cannot be reduced. Now I want you to look at 5C. Now, if you look at that right there, can you subtract that? No, because the denominators are not the same. Yes, your whole numbers you could, but you cannot do your fractions because the denominators are not the same. You have to have the same common denominator. So if you look at 5 and 3, what's something they have in common? Think about it. What's 5 times 3? 15. One times 3 is 3. 2 times 5 is 10. What can I subtract now? No, I still cannot subtract because 3 is smaller than 10. So now, what I'm going to have to do is borrow from that 12 and make it an 11. And then I'm going to say 15 over 15, and I'm going to add them together. Now that's going to make this fraction on the top one bigger so I can subtract them. So 3 plus 15 is 18 over 15. Yes, I know it's an improper fraction, but now we can subtract. 18 minus 10 is 8/15. 11 minus 7 is 4. I'll let you look over those and see if there's any questions, because if there is a question, please contact me, because I can't help you if I don't know. And the reason I do, remember the reason I did 15 over 15 is because when you take a whole away from that 12, 15 over 15 is a whole. Okay, I want us to review one more thing, your Roman numerals. I want you to make sure you remember what they equal. So, that equals what? 1. V equals 5, X equals 10, L equals 50, C equals 100, D equals 500, and M equals 1,000. And you're going to need to know these Roman numerals for some of your problems in your math for today. That's why I want you to make sure you remember what they equaled, because I know I had a poster up in the room. You can look, go, oh, that equals that. So here, write them down, make sure you get them, because you are going to need to use them. Alright, I want you to look at 6b. I'm going to help you just figure that one out. 6b reads C, M, L, X, X, I. When you have a smaller one in front of a bigger one, you remember you subtract. C equals 100, M equals 1,000. So if you have 1,000, and you take 100 away, that makes those two together equal 900. L we know is 50. We know X equals 10, so 2 of them make 20. I is 1, so 2 of them make 2. So your number will be 972. Remember, when there's a smaller one in front of a bigger one, you're gonna have to subtract. Just wanted you to make sure you remember how to do your Roman numerals. So, if you have any questions, let me know, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. Alright, hope to see you next time. If you have any questions, please let me know. See you in our next math video. Bye.